told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello and welcome to A Perfect Match. I'm Aysha, and today
I'm Jason. I'm so happy to hear.
Let me talk. Let me talk.
All right, go
Let
ahead.
me talk.
Actually, you know what? Aysha? I'm tired of you talking to my own Aysha. I'm sick of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done. You belittle me. You insult me. I'm done. I'm over it. Oh my gosh.
Oh, the dramatics this episode from every angle.
I get the Erky.
I know. We do need to call him Icky.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
But we're here to talk about episode 17 of season 18 of Married at First Sight. This was Decision Day, which usually there's a lot of hype around Decision Day. Usually we're leading up to it. We're like, I don't know what so-and-so's going to say. This was like just another episode of the continuation of this drama that like started episode 10.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Decision Day is usually a big event, but it feels like we're dealing with so much of the aftermath. They're just like, and Juan and Carla and Camille Thomas are doing Decision Day. Back to the love square.
Yeah, we're actually gonna start at week 1 for one of the couples.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
It's just, oh my gosh, yeah, we have so much to discuss. I don't know why it feels so long since we talked last week. Do you feel that way?
A little bit. Maybe it's the Love Is Blind. That's what was in between is making it feel longer. Yeah.
Very true. Yes, when we record Love Is Blind, it kind of like breaks it up, and then I'm like, did we talk 2 or 3 weeks ago? I was like, did we miss a week? Oh man. But yes, thank y'all so much for joining us to talk about this episode. Make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, where you can find all of our podcasts for A Perfect Match, where we talk about Married at First Sight, as well as we Love Is Blind. We're currently talking about that weekly with so Jason and I, along with Mary Kwiatkowski, are talking about season 8 of Love Is Blind. Started off slow, kind of picking up
still slow.
I mean, it's like, somebody's like on a tricycle and their parent is like pushing them. Now the parent has let go. We're still on a tricycle though, so you can only go.
They're still they're wobbling. We're like, is it going? Are they going to get straightened out? Is it going to fall? What's going to happen? Right. We're still in the wobble phase. Like, are you going to catch the rhythm? Are they going to get it? Like, we don't know. The little baby of Love Is Blind 8 can still fall flat on its face, right. But we still don't know. Well, good thing we got a helmet on the show.
Right. And good thing we're talking about it. So if y'all don't feel like watching it, you can just come hear our reactions to everything that happened if you just want some form of entertainment. But make sure you go leave us a 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate it when we hear y'all's thoughts and opinions. We shout them out. So this week, we're going to shout out a few. So the first one is from When Nathan. Great podcast. 5 stars. Just found your podcast and loving it. Short and sweet. Love it.
Love it.
Next one is from Pastizia. It's titled Love It. 5 stars. Says, laughing with Jason and Aysha is such fun. Thank you for making your podcast a wonderful place to be. Definitely a destination podcast. Hey.
The B was in quotation marks. What does that mean exactly? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we're happy that you are a place where you can be. That's right. That's what I like.
I like that. It says definitely a destination podcast.
There you go.
If you like that.
That's where you
never heard that before.
Yeah, it's good. One of the ones I'm going to do is from Hank's Mom 92. Says highly recommend. Both of these hosts are right on with their opinions, and I laugh along with them while listening. I came to this podcast just this season, and so glad I did. Highly recommend for all the MAFS fans out there that like to dissect the episodes. Thanks, Mom. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hank, you got a real one.
Appreciate your mom.
You got a real mom there, Hank. Hope you appreciate your mom.
Do you think Hank's a boy or a dog?
Of course you would go with a dog. Of course. I want to assume that Hank is a human.
I would easily do Pepper's mom or Cindy's mom.
I was about to say, you gonna just diss Cinnamon like that? Oh my goodness. Ugh,
You can't forget the firstborn.
oh my gosh.
Pepper holds a
Um,
special place in my heart.
I'm sure. The next one I'm gonna do is from Rebecca Az. It is entitled "My Favorite." This podcast keeps me watching MAFS. Jason and Aysha are the best. Yeah, you get
Love
no
it.
argument from me. Get no argument from me about that.
Right.
Yeah,
Love
great
it.
reviews. Love it.
Yes, thank y'all so much for leaving those reviews. We also have a great time over there on Facebook, where you could join our Facebook group. We talk about the episodes live as they're happening, and the past 2 episodes have had 300 plus comments. So people
Mhm.
actively having opinions, and it's just basically one big chat room. That's how you can look at the comment section. But you need a password to join our Facebook group. So go look up a Perfect Match podcast. And this week, the password is
It's a barf emoji. You know, the one with the green vomit coming out. It's the barf emoji. If you're on a desktop, you can just write barf if you want. But if you have access to an emoji keyboard, just the yellow face with the barf coming out, because that is really how I felt watching these David and Madison segments, especially their date. Like what? Like there's no instrument on this earth that could measure the amount of gall these people have.
yes.
And I'm talking everybody. I'm talking about David, Madison, the producers that approved this date. This is outrageous that you're going to present this like, oh, look at this
It's
cute little couple. No, no.
It blows my mind because it's just like it just further proves Madison is just a habitual liar because at least David, once it was out there, he's like, I'm free. I love Madison. I can tell the world. She's still like, I'm just gonna focus on myself. I'm not gonna really prioritize this relationship.
Next
It's way
day,
too
go on a date.
soon.
Next day.
I love playing golf with you, David. You're so
Oh,
cute.
I can just be myself with you. Oh, God. But listen, I just the way that Mass and David have just said, you know what? F it. No one's gonna believe our lies. No one's gonna believe our story. You might as well just come out as the awful, horrible people we are and just own it. Because by the end of this episode, that's what happened. They're owning their awfulness. And the preview,
Yes.
where Mass is like, put me in a box ring with her. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you not know that you are the most in the wrong here? You are the worst. She it's so crazy how your perception of someone can change based on actions, right? Because the way her and David look now is so just trashy and so low class. Like and we were so in Team David in the beginning of the season. We were like, oh, poor little David. He's so horribly treated. And now it's just like, ugh, gross. It's so crazy how like this perceptions can change based on that stuff.
Oh, it's just, I mean, like Carla said, it is grimy and dirty.
Grimy and dirty. You're a Duffy, not amazing.
Yeah.
Ciao.
You might be amazing, but I don't know you.
That's so funny. I don't know you. So.
After 2 months, the fact that they don't know Ikechi after 2 months just shows how just like absent he was.
Yeah, because he gets huffy and walks off all the time and just refuses to show up to stuff. I'm gonna get my way. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these couples. Well, not some of these, all of them.
We'll talk all of them. Even the new one.
New one. Yeah. Let's just talk about everything that happened. There is also a get together, like how all the couples usually get together after decision day to kind of share their decisions, what happened. And some of them sometimes are not exciting. This one was not in that category. There was a lot that happened, so much so that it ended on a cliffhanger, and we will see what comes of it. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's see. I was just updating something. Okay, perfect. Let's talk about Carla and Juan. They're right there. So Carla and Juan, it is their decision day, but it was a whole lot of wasting our time.
Oh
because
yeah.
these were conversations that should have been happening.
But they finally decided to actually say something substantial about their relationship, about what they needed to fix, what they didn't like about their relationship. Like,
Yes.
well, it was all said in like the past tense, like, wish you could have done something, but oh well, big shrug emoji.
Oopsies. All
And
these
by the
things we
time,
could have addressed.
yeah, by the time we get to the end of it, Carla is just like, and this is like, girl, why? Where was all this
She
energy
said, I
for the last 8
found
weeks?
my voice. Okay.
Man,
Yeah. So it's 4 days until decision day. Juan is on FaceTime with his parents and he's showing off his handlebar mustache. Um, and he's like, y'all don't like my mustache? And his dad's like, I do like it. This whole conversation is in Spanish. So I'm going to tell it to you in English though.
that's probably a smart idea. Probably.
How impressive would it be if I was just like
start laying it all out in Spanish, like
all those failed attempts at Duolingo plus 3 years of Spanish in high school? You think I would be further
you got
along?
nothing.
Right. So it took me a while to get through this scene just to make sure got what was happening. But he says that they're getting along really well. They don't really have a lot of problems, but the romantic connection just doesn't exist, and he doesn't know what to do. And so his mom is just like, when people like don't know each other, it is harder to get a connection. So she's like, what I'm hearing is y'all have like a good connection, but something you feel like something is missing. And Juan is just kind of like, yeah, and like I don't know what to do. His dad says like, look, your brain is going to tell you what to do. And Juan's like, it's just a complex situation. I really don't think it's that complex, Juan. I think it's as simple as y'all aren't a good match because there's some barrier for you. So you aren't able to see her in a romantic way, but you're fine being buddies.
Yeah, he doesn't like her in that way. He likes her. He doesn't like her. I
Mm-hmm.
read back when do you like me or do you like me? He just likes her. He likes her as a person, except for all that woo woo spiritual tarot card stuff. That seems to be his biggest hang up, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's always funny when they try to say, like, oh no, like specifically when the guys are like hesitant with physical intimacy, they try to blame it on like, no, I want us to be connected more first. When typically it's like they're just not into her. Like I
Yeah.
feel like there's so many couples we can think about that are
And
just like that.
And it's always like, because when they were flashing back to their wedding, they were hugging, they were kissing on the dance floor. I'm just like, so why can't we just have any amount of touching
Mm-hmm.
or intimacy after that? What I still don't really understand why he stopped that. Did he get just an inkling of her personality? He was just like, you know what? Probably not for me. I was gonna spend the next 8 weeks chilling, trying to promote my business. They won't let me promote my business, but I'll try.
As much as I can. I'm
Yeah, so
even gonna have them over at my studio for the
what
group.
what is this place?
He said the Magic Factory,
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I don't know what he does there, why
boxing
he has it
ring.
that way. It's so weird. But I would just, if I was to give Juan some truth serum, I would ask him, how early did you know that this was not going to be a thing? And like, were you just, I think after week 1, he was just like, yeah, I'm
I
done.
think when we got that one scene where he was like he woke up extra early, went and rode his bike. He did a bunch of stuff in the morning and came back and she was like just waking up. I think at that point he was already like
Yeah, possibly. Maybe that whole thing at the honeymoon where she made him carry his stuff around in the clear plastic
yes.
bag was just like his like, you know what? If she's gonna be like this, I'm out of here.
I don't know. Well, she's with his sister, or no, she's with her sisters. They both were her sisters, right?
Yes.
Okay, they've come over to visit her. They're like, oh man, it feels like the wedding was just yesterday. And Carla shares that, like, she's like, she feels like they've been tiptoeing around, like, the fact that decision day is soon. It's really hard for her to be vulnerable. And so her sisters ask, like, okay, how are you feeling on the inside? And she's like, it's really starting to sink in. Reality is starting to hit. And she's like, I don't know. I just don't know. She's like, her sister said, I just want to shake him. She's
We
like,
all
yeah,
do.
yeah. Carla said she just doesn't think there's anything that he can say or do at this point. It's all about like the actions, like a simple gesture of like, she's like, "Hey, Carla, I like you." She's like, even if you were to say like, I didn't know how to navigate this relationship. I did have my walls up. I want to work on bringing my walls down. I am interested in you. I am interested in trying. She's like, that would help if he said something like that, but that coming out of Juan's mouth is
I mean,
impossible.
the problem is, girl, he don't like you. That's what's holding that up. It's not as if he's feeling that and just won't say it. He just don't like you like that.
But
And
he could. Like, why doesn't, like, I don't understand. I mean, we can get into this definitely with the other in two conversations, but usually we, from an outsider's perspective, we can see what it is. We're like,
yeah,
oh, he's not into this, or oh, like Madison doesn't like Alan for these specific reasons, mainly because she explicitly stated it. But with Juan, it's like, okay, she's interested in spiritual, in like tarot cards and stuff, right?
I also, yeah, I think that's the main thing, and I also think it's just kind of how, if I was to guess, I would say it's all of her language, the way she speaks about energy and this and that. It's not just because he'll talk about it later. She'll be like, "Well, I only made you go read tarot cards once." It's not just about the tarot cards; it's about how she lives life and the way she flows through space. Of like, hey, talks constantly about energy and all this and that, putting out in the universe. I just look at that is his language. That's not a language he wants to speak. It's not a language he wants to hear every day. And that is an everyday thing of her being like, talking about energy and this, the way that she flows through life. He does not think she's a serious person. I think if he was to be honest with us, he would say that. Say, she's just unserious. I need someone that is ambitious, driven, in touch with reality. I think Juan probably thinks she's not really in touch with reality. I could see that. So I think that is probably what Juan's big hangup is. He won't tell us that because he is such a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I think that if I was to guess, that would be his thing.
You know who I'm thinking that could have been good for Juan if they were in the same city?
Who's that?
Mirla.
Kristen? Mirla. Mirla's too mean. I think Mirla can get real mean. I think I put everyone with Kristen from was it San Diego with Mitch?
Oh.
I think I put everyone with her because she just seemed so like agreeable. She seemed so go with the flow. And she was also like a very successful, driven person. I think
that's the part of Mirla I was saying. She's successful. Yeah. She's like accomplished. She's focused on like her career, but she's also a serious person.
She's also a little stuck up. But I think Kristen would be great for him because she is successful. She's driven, ambitious, and I think that's probably what his usual type is Kristen.
Okay. So they have one more like, I guess, date. If they're at a hot tub. We get a confessional from him saying like, he's like, she's my best friend. Like I've seen a lot of patience and like care that we've had for each other. And I thought it was kind of wild. He said she's his best friend.
His best friend.
Yeah.
I could not focus on anything they were saying because the way that the water was making their bodies look and with their heads above water, I was like, this looks so weird. But yeah, I mean, this is the language of the talk of a no on decision day. So it's just like, why are we even bothering with this? He's literally just calling her his best friend. She's my best friend. I really laugh with her a lot. I really like her.
Friend I could have ever found in this process. Like the type of friend she is perfect for me.
Like, how often has he referred to her as his wife? Because I swear to God, every time he talks about her, he talks about friends. He's my friend. She's my friend. Not like she's my wife. I like her as my wife. She's my friend. Yeah. So like the writing has been on the wall for at least a month.
A while.
These two.
Yeah. She tells him she felt like it was a tug of war where she was just trying to be like in this space of like considering someone else, but she felt like it wasn't being reciprocated. And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. I could sense that. And he said the toughest part for him was like feeling that she was all in at the honeymoon, and then she kind of pulled back, and then he was kind of confused. She was like, yeah, she had to take a step back. She's like, I want you to be your authentic self. Like, I didn't want you to change anything about like who you were. She's like, life is hard enough, and she didn't want to be part of that hardship. She's like, but I do think a marriage should be with your friend. Like, you should be friends with your spouse, but like we were just talking about, you can't just be friends.
Yeah, there's always needs to be a physical attraction. There needs to be affection, and I think
Yeah.
that's what Carl's going to say is like it's just not there.
Yeah. And so he says he thinks they make a great team. It's the last night before decision day, and he's like, yeah, I think it'd be a good idea for me to stay at my apartment tonight, so I can think. I'm like, Juan, that's the plan for everybody the night before
Yeah,
decision day.
I mean, but did production make him say that? Like, I don't understand.
He
Like, that's
probably felt like he had, why I feel so safe right now? ADT.
we don't have ADT here. I have ADT at my
Yeah.
place. I would feel so much better if I went there because I'm not gonna really be focused while I'm making this decision, and I'm gonna let ADT do the focusing for me because they're gonna check my
Exactly.
house while I'm thinking about the decision. So you see how it is? Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And so he's like, well, what's on your mind? She's like, nothing's really on my mind. She's like, I really lead with my heart, and I've just been reflecting on our marriage. I think it's a healthy marriage and that we've built a foundation. But when it comes to intimacy, it's like it came to a standstill. And he's like, yeah, it just didn't feel organic to like make that move. Um, and then he said he felt like there's been a lot of spiritual stuff, and it could be a little too much for him sometimes. She's like, it's not an everyday thing, like you said earlier. And she's like, I'm not trying to push my beliefs on someone else. He's like, yeah, I guess. But it's just like you said, it is an everyday thing in her existence.
Yeah. I
Which
mean,
is a lot for him.
it's not just about making him do experiences. It's the way that she talks. It's the way that she refers to things. I think that really gets to Juan because
Yeah.
when he was like, yeah, the spiritual stuff's too much for me. She was like, excuse me, we went on one tarot card reading. Like that is
Yeah.
in 2 months. That's nothing. He was just like,
She said, I only sage the house every day.
every day. Like that's right. Like every time she did the saging in the apartment, he would always be like, oh my God, like why is she doing? Especially when she almost set the apartment on fire. He's like, I can't be doing this every day. Like ADT don't got enough smoke alarms for me to really deal with this.
Right. He ends up packing his bag, and he puts a speaker out, and he's like, let's have a goodbye dance party. And so they get back to like the Juan and Carla we've seen all season, just like carefree, having a good time. They're dancing. And he says in his confessional, Carla is fun. She makes him laugh. They're like good. They have good foundational qualities. And Carla said, Juan, I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
She's like, oh, you should take your poncho. And he was like, no, I'll let you have her for one more night.
Right.
Until decision day.
Right.
Whoops. Let that slip
when we
out.
move out of here tomorrow and go our separate way. I mean,
whoopsie.
Right. This is the moment, them having fun and like having a great time. This is the moment I thought about when we get the date later where they're talking with Madison and David, talking about how everything is so fun and so light. Like, yeah, that's how it is for like when there's no, like, I guess not even just pressure, because I don't think of commitment that way, but when there's not like, when you're not committed to each other.
When there's no serious stakes. When there's when there's not real life to think about, and you can just we'll talk about Madison and David, in their own segment. But when there's when you have no care, when you're carefree, yes, it's fun and easy. Yes. But what happens when shit hits the road? How are y'all going to react then? They don't know that yet. They're just in la la land, dating and doing nonsense. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But but Juan and Carla are so. They'll make great friends. Like they're gonna make great friends. They'll probably like we in the dance party, right? They danced together but separately.
Yeah.
I feel like if Juan and Carla as friends went out to like a dance club, he would be saucing with her, twirling her all around. I feel like when the pressure's off of him, maybe they could even do something like touch, because it doesn't seem like they even touched at all. Like he could do tango sauce with her as a friend and still touch her and all that, but it didn't feel like he did any of that during the marriage at any point.
Yeah. Yes, maybe they could touch.
Yeah, because it just didn't feel like he was so scared to touch her, because he was like, I know this is not going to go anywhere. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to touch her and knowing I'm not going to go with it. He was a complete gentleman in that way of being like, I don't even want to give you any false hope. I don't want to
Yeah.
touch you when I know I'm not supposed to be touching you, when I know I'm not going to say yes. So it just felt like he was so standoffish with her. But
Yeah.
like if they approach it as friends and they go out together, I feel like she would be on him like she was on her other friends when Pia was trying to bust their balls.
Yes.
Like, hey, what about this? And
Exactly.
I feel like we can go out now as friends and actually be more carefree and hug and do this stuff. But he was just like, it just seemed like he was so scared to even just touch her at all.
Mm-hmm. So it's decision day. Before decision day, she's feeling a little hesitant and scared. She said Juan decided to shave his face completely because he said he wants to present more respectable. And he's like, whatever happens, happens. I hope he hopes that they walk away on a positive note. They do the flashback where we look over their relationship, right? Her initial thoughts of him was like she thought he was very handsome, he had a positive outlook. His initial thoughts of her is that she was beautiful and that they could have fun, like they had fun at their wedding. The experts sit down at decision day before Juan and Carla get there, and Pia is worried about them being like too nice with each other. Dr. Pepper was like, well, maybe they should say yes since they really don't know that much about each
I
other.
wonder if Dr. Pepper had to cut. Like, I got to cut. I can't even say this without laughing, without a smirk. It's like, all right, let me try to get through. Let me get 2 more takes to try to get without laughing.
She's like, they're strangers, but that actually might be a reason to stay married.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. But yeah, it's comical. So he walks in. Dr. Pepper goes, I don't remember you being that tall because the last time you saw him was probably the matchmaking special.
Right, because you ain't seen me, girl. You ain't seen me in 2 months. Dang. Obviously.
She was stunned by his height. Carla walks in looking amazing. And even
Amazing.
Juan goes, she looks very beautiful.
Yeah. You think, Juan, this is what you about to pass up, Juan.
Right. I loved her that dress on her.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey, it's the first time I've seen her actually wearing like clothes that covers like more than 20% of her body.
I can't sit here and think of a single Carla outfit.
I mean, she's usually wearing like very, very little clothes.
Like the workout aesthetic.
Well, yeah, that and she's always got like the flowy shirts that's like almost like flying off her body.
Mm-hmm. So Juan has said like he's had a great time with her. She's been a great partner to him the past 8 weeks. And he says like, or she says like, or they talk about how it wasn't until later that she really started to bring him into like her spiritual beliefs, and that kind of caused him to like check out.
He's like, yeah, at first I played along. Like,
Basically.
played along.
Yeah. Like, is this like, yeah, he did say that. Played along like it was some little silly game.
Hey, I tried, but I was really checked out when I was reading all that
Right.
stuff. Like, okay, Juan, like, damn, that was a little harsh, but okay.
Yes. Carla says she was not looking for a partner who was like so similar because she feels like that's a limit to growing. Because she feels like you can learn so much from each other if you aren't so similar. And Pastor Cal was like, yeah, we got to remember there's a difference between unity and sameness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And yeah. And so he says like he wants to be with somebody who shares the same interests. Or no, Pastor Cal was like, you want to be with somebody who shares the same interests. And Carla was like shaking her head.
yep.
And
That's
yeah.
right, Pastor Cal. Get him.
And Juan was like, no. He's like, I go to the gym every day. Dr. Pia says she's a Pilates instructor. He's like, well, that's different.
He's like, not that type of gym. Like, that's just different. Like, I kind of agree with that, but okay. Juan's talking about going to the gym, doing some cardio, maybe lifting some weights. Not this hippy dippy
class
Pilates
fitness
stuff. Yeah.
Pilates is actually hard too, so he needs to.
I saw what they were doing in that Pilates class. He's like, no, Dr. Pia, like real gym, not that stuff, like real stuff. That's basically what he was like. He's like, no, you don't know what I'm talking about.
And so Pastor Cal, that was the moment Pastor Cal was like, so you want somebody who does exactly what you do. Carla felt like there was a lack of consideration in actually trying to include her in these things, because he would be, instead of saying, hey, would you like to go to the gym together? Let's see what time works for us both. He'd be like, oh, I'm going at 6 a.m. when he
That
knows that
is
she's not going to go at 6 a.m.
That's such a good point. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was not really flexible in trying to really kind of include her on things. I think that is
Yeah.
like that's a necessity if you're going to get married, especially married at first sight, is to be flexible.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone's not going to be down for your routine. You're going to need to work with the other person to figure out a compromise. And he seems like he's very rigid in a lot of
Yeah.
things he does. He's like, nope, it's 6 a.m. or you're not coming.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
it.
Yep. And so it feels like he just wanted her to fit into whatever he already had going
Yeah,
on,
totally.
which that never works.
I mean, we saw as much when they were like early in the season when they were talking about moving into his place possibly. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Could I bring some of my stuff here?" And he was like, "I mean, I'm pretty set on stuff. Like I feel like I got like stuff around, so I don't really need more of your stuff. So I think we're good
Right.
here, right?" So that yeah, I think that is a perfect example of him just being super inflexible. And like you said, he's one someone's going to come and fit right into his life and not cause any kind of disruption or
No,
havoc or
sir.
anything. Yeah.
Yes. So she said, like, there's been no physical touch at all, like not even a hug when he got home from work.
Crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
She said her love bucket just hasn't been filled. And because of that, there couldn't be flexibilities in other areas. And Juan was like, well, but there was no magnetism towards her. He's like, even though she does fulfill a lot of what he's looking for. And Carla does say that this is the first healthy relationship she's been in. Pastor Cal said, that's awesome.
Pascal, no, I'm like, that is so sad. That's
Right.
so sad. This is how these relationship you've been in. But I did, Cal also was like, I cut to Juan, he's like, you have the inability to experience something outside of what you feel in the moment. And
Yeah.
that's kind of a disservice to just go on the I'm not feeling it right now, because you're going to just kind of let it pass you by if you're not feeling it in the moment. So it's kind of like, you got to kind of get out of your comfort zone. I think it's kind of what that is. Like, yeah, you might not have this magnetism, but I mean, Juan, I mean, look at Carla. Like, I mean, she's a beautiful girl, right? You guys are in bed together. Maybe just like cop a feel, Juan. Maybe see what that's about, Juan. You know what I mean? You know
He
what I mean, Juan?
refused.
You know what I mean? Nah, he was not into it,
He's
like,
absolutely not.
at all.
So it's time for their decision, and Carla goes first, and she is choosing to end the marriage. Surprise, surprise, everyone.
Yeah, shocker.
Yeah, she said because they were not truly compatible. He does say they had so much fun and they killed it, but he thinks they should get a divorce as well. And she was like, Carla said, my forever person will not say goodbye because of my athleticism or my spirituality. I
Ooh.
said, exactly.
She said, now time to tell the truth. Now time to read him
Right.
for filth. I'll try to be nice, but now it's over and I can tell what I
Right.
really think.
Yes. She was like, I love love. And I think there's love out there for everybody. Pastor Cal's like, I just love, what did he say? Your nonverbal
Yeah.
moves.
She's like shimming her shoulders the whole
Yeah.
time.
It was funny too, the way they ended this, because we get a confessional from him saying, I really hope that we can like be friends and we can have a friendship out of this. And she's like, I didn't come in her confessional. She said, I didn't come here for a friendship. Ciao, ciao, wancho.
It was almost like they told her, like, he said he wanted a friendship. She's like,
Right.
I'm not for no friendship. Yeah, she said, ciao, macho. She said, out with the old, in with the new.
Yes.
So you go, girl. You go, Carla.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, listen, we went through a whole lot just to get to a decision we
I
already
know.
knew what would
Yes.
happen. Let's get to our other no-brainer, Camille and Thomas. We start with them. They go to dinner. They got a charcuterie board and alcohol flights or whatever.
It's a mead flight, which I was so jealous of because
I thought he said a meat flight, and I was like, those look like drinks, not pieces of meat. I was confused.
No, I was so jealous because I love cider, obviously, but mead is like so good. It's in the same
Mead.
family because like cider is
it's like a drink of the gods or something. Like so they call it mead. Get me some mead.
No, that's what happened one time. I went to a bar in where was I? Brooklyn, and I was like, "Oh, do y'all?" I was like, "Do y'all have mead?" He said, "What is this? The 1600s?" The bartender.
Yeah, for real.
was like, well, dang, a no would have sufficed.
He's like, get your bougie ass out of here. Mead.
Well, mead is so
What's next? What's next? You ask you ever got cider? Is that what you're gonna ask me next?
so cider is fermented apples, whereas mead is fermented honey. And it's actually really strong. Like every mead I've ever had has been like very high in alcohol content. So it looked good. The charcuterie board looked great. I was like 10 out of 10 dates, no notes.
Yeah, so they're doing the mead flight or whatever. They talk about decision day. He says he's feeling pretty. He's like feeling pretty good. At a place where we won't have any regrets. Want to make sure we're making the best decision. I don't want feelings to dictate rational decisions. I have to always consider logic and longevity. And she asks again. She's like, all right. Basically, she's like, all right, Thomas, I'm gonna give you one more chance. I'll give you one more try at this. All right, focus, Thomas. Where are we going? She grabs his face. Where are we living after decision day? He says, I know we talked to Pascal. He said we shouldn't move around a bunch. He's like, but basically, F that. We're probably gonna do that.
Right.
He says, I would love it if you moved in with me, but I just don't have the space to support that.
What did we see his place? Is he in a studio apartment?
Bro, you have a twin bed? Like, what do you? I just need some space for her to sleep. Maybe a drawer or something. I don't know. Like she can have her place still, have her clothes there. She can bring some clothes over. I don't know.
Storage units are a thing.
Yeah.
Like they.
Carla lives in a storage unit. Like if Carla can live in a storage unit, you can live in Thomas's apartment.
I'm just like, can we go back to see what his place looks like?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we saw it was small, but it didn't have anything in it because Thomas is a blank slate. So there should be plenty of room for her. He's just like, I don't have the space to support that. I was like, okay, weird. She says, she wants to push him to kind of come up with a plan because, it's about the progression of the relationship and feeling prioritized to him enough to make plans for her. He says, just things aren't just concrete as I want them to be. I don't know I don't know what you're going to say on decision day, and you don't know what I'm going to say on decision day. I was like, really? Are you serious, Thomas? I feel like Thomas is serious. He shouldn't be serious. I feel like, come on now. Come on.
I think he was serious because even in confessional, he said, like, I'm not sure if she's 100%. No, I'm not sure if she's 100% yes.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Thomas is kind of dense. I feel like Thomas like, I need you to focus, my boy. And she says, yeah. Because he said, yeah, I don't know what you're going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say. She's like, yeah. Like, she grabs his face again. It's like, yeah, but that's the thing, my guy. Like, you planning and me knowing that you're planning stuff will help me get to a yes easier. Right. So I need to know, like, I really wish you would like, so just break it down. I need to know that you are planning for the future so I can say yes. And she's like, I need to know it's not a fun in the moment type of thing or just playing house. He's like, yeah, I get it. I definitely agree with that. I'm not playing house. I am taking this seriously. I have plans and timelines in my head. Camille's like,
can you get those out of your head? I'm literally asking you these questions.
Like, are you hearing what I'm saying to you, sir? Like, you have plans in your head. Why haven't you let them out of your head? That seems like that's what I need to hear to feel better and more secure. I need to hear what the plans are. I was like, yeah, they're in my head. Can't get them out. Nothing I can do about it.
I'm doing a lot of planning in my head.
Oh man, we got 10 kids in the future. You don't even know. You don't even know what I got planned for us. He says, they know. Well, he kind of changes the subject. He's like, I know we've had issues with vulnerability. He says, I know I've been very vulnerable, but from his perspective, she has not been vulnerable yet that much. He says, I've only seen you cry once. How many times do you just see this woman cry to make you satisfied? It's such a weird metric to base this off of.
Especially when like there's like vulnerability is just not connected to tears. Like that's not.
Yeah. It's so weird that he has that thought, I need to see you cry at least 3 more times for you to feel comfortable.
Right.
Like, so weird. She says, she's never gone this deep into relationships. She does want to be that softer, more vulnerable person, and and but to do that, she needs to feel like she can sit back and relax sometimes and not just be the planner for everything. And he needs to help her to do that stuff. And I was just thinking, like, it's almost like, okay, for me to plan stuff, you need to be more vulnerable. But for me to be more vulnerable, you need to plan stuff. It's like this
Mm-hmm.
weird game of like, you need to do this first before I do this. No, I need you to do that thing. It's like it's such a
It
weird
needs to just
thing to
all
have.
happen simultaneously.
Yes, exactly. I think the onus is on Tom though to like just
To
come up
take
with a
that
plan.
initiative. Yeah, like
Just do something.
she just doesn't want to keep having to be like if he's not actively planning, she doesn't want to have to like this is kind of showing her how it will be in the future with
Yeah.
every big decision like this. Like this is the start. So it's like, okay, I want to see that you have the ability to be like, this is what we're going to do about our living situation. This is a big
Yeah.
deal.
And I think it's easier to get out of the habit of planning than it is to get out of a habit of not being vulnerable. That might take a little
Mm-hmm.
more time. It shouldn't take that much time for you to be like, all right, I'm gonna nail down this planning thing. Like
Yeah.
that is an active step you can take. Being more vulnerable will take a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in confessional, she says that, I just don't think he's understanding that my vulnerability ties directly into him planning things. And I need him to take a hard stance on things in our relationship. And I feel like by doing that, he's not choosing me and he's just being a little too complacent in things. It's like, yeah. I mean, also tell him that. Like, I
Yeah.
know she said that, but like use those exact words, say that to him.
To
But
him, yeah.
I feel like he really, really needs to be walked through this rather slowly. All right, Thomas, I'm breaking down for you again.
Mm-hmm.
We get to a scene where he's packing to leave to spend last night on his own. She is she's watching him pack with just like a plate of food. I don't know what the food was. She's
Yeah.
just sitting on the bed with a plate of food. I'm like, she's like, I'm hungry. You're gonna have to shoot this around me eating this because
Right.
I haven't eaten yet today. I'm hungry. It's
Mhm.
just so weird. She just sitting there with a plate of food on her lap, talking like,
On the bed.
why is there a prop here? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, he says, this is the first time we've been apart. In this whole experiment. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be different. She says she's really looking forward to the night alone to sleep on the decision. She says in the confessional, she says she's going to be deciding what she wants for the rest of her life to look like, and is Tom the type of man for her, and the life that she sees herself living. Which is, I haven't really liked what I've seen in terms of him making life plans. They kiss goodbye, they depart, or he departs, I should say. It's decision day time. We get the little flashbacks. We get the monologues. Thomas says, when I first saw Camille, I felt really blessed. Couldn't believe she's going to be my wife. She gives him purpose. Can't do the whole thing with it. She gives him purpose, makes him feel needed. Her smile brightens a room. She is competitive and adventurous. Life is never boring with her. She is sweet and confident and radiant. She is a companion he longed for, and they have been able to tackle the ups and the downs of their journey. But Camille does struggle with vulnerability and saying what she feels in the moment. He feels like she'll say yes, but he's not 100% sure she will. Anything can happen.
And I think that's just like a defense mechanism to just be like just in case.
Yeah.
But it's like he knows in his heart that they're breaking up. That like
No way.
yeah.
It's Camille's turn. She says when she saw Tom, he was very handsome. He had an endearing smile. He is supportive, empathetic, authentic, and kind. He cares about making her feel loved and putting a smile on her face. Uh, if she's down, he'll try anything to get a smile on her face. And she wanted to be married at first sight, to have a person that makes life fun and enjoyable, and also down to ride through the storms together no matter what. But at 42, he is complacent, plays things too safe. He struggles with setting goals. He is not assertive and does not take the lead. She sees reasons why they were matched. She wishes they had the same mindset on planning for the future. Tom is a little too safe, and she worries about taking the safe route. I was like, damn. Tell me how you really feel.
Right.
The experts meet up. They say, it's been pretty smooth sailing, especially comparatively to everyone else. They have been very, very smooth sailing.
Right. They're like, y'all are our last hope. Don't play
let us
no
down.
games.
Don't let us down. Pepper's only concern is the swag factor, as she says. Cal says, listen, swag is multifaceted. Dr. Pepper says, well, it's basically confidence, right? And he's definitely grown in that. Cal's like, yeah, fine, confidence. P.S. says she had a reservation with Thomas in the start. She wasn't sure if he was ready for someone like Camille, but he has handled everything Camille brings like a champ. Time for decision. Time for the moment. Time for decision day couch. All of that. Thomas enters. You clocked it last week. He enters with a basketball, and all the experts are like, what is that for? Why are you bringing a basketball in here? He goes, put it behind the couch, and poor 40. Tom is every bit of 42. Because when he puts that ball down, he's like, ugh, and puts it down behind the couch. Like, oh my gosh, man, I can't even bend over without groaning.
Right.
Tom sits down.
It would have been cool if he had had one of the experts have it behind their chairs and like passed it to him.
Yeah, I don't know why he walked in with it, because I feel like it's not see you walking in with a prop. It's gonna be a yes from you. I feel like right. unless you're playing some really elaborate, terrible.
You're like, oh, you missed the pass. We're done.
Yeah, like what the hell? Like, so it was pretty much a yes from there, or just had the basketball already behind the couch. I don't know.
Right. He shoots it brick.
Like, all right,
just like our connection.
Right. If I make this, we stay married. If I miss, we divorce. Yeah. We all know you're gonna miss the time. We see you play basketball. Okay.
Like, I'm gonna play you for my heart, just like I'm loving basketball.
There you go. So yeah, he puts the basketball down. He sits down with the experts. They say, "Listen, Tom, you're a little different from when we first met you. Camille's got you kind of swagged out, huh?" He says, "Yeah, there are things he has changed. He came into this wanting to be open, and he's really happy with the influence that Camille's had over him." Camille enters, looking fire, as usual, predictably. She hugs Tom first before the experts. They're like, "Oh, okay. You want to go to your husband first? That's we see you.
Miss you.
Yeah, we see you." Cal asks her, "So what are the things that surprised her about Tom?" Camille says, he doesn't really care about being embarrassed, like in a good way. He's not someone that tries to play it too cool. He never leads with his ego. He is really just down for whatever. Thomas, for his part, says Camille is amazing. She's loving, she's an accommodator, but also a provider. She's strong, confident, makes him believe in himself. Camille says it's nice. It says for her, it would be nice to not have to be the one that's always forward thinking, always planning things. Part of her felt like if she hadn't brought up what they were going to do after decision day about moving, they would just be standing on a curb outside wondering what's next.
The way I busted out laughing because I was picturing that.
Yeah. And Tom shaking his head like, no, that wouldn't have happened.
No, I would have been at my apartment and you would have been at your apartment.
Yeah. He agrees he's not the best at short-term planning. Camille also talks about the fact that, he also had a 9-year relationship that just kind of fizzled out. What if that becomes us? Tom's like, why you put all my business out in the street like that? Why you gotta tell the experts all that? They already knew, Tom. They already knew. He says for him, this relationship has been great, but it's been a very small sample size. And he agrees. He says, I don't want to get to a point where we stop trying to work on it. Camille again talks about her softness and about him taking lead to help her get to that softer side. But the time has come to decide. Thomas goes first. He says, this process has been crazy. He says, I overthink too much. He says, you put me through a lot physically. I've had more injuries the last 8 weeks than I have had in my entire life.
That was hilarious because
so funny.
I'm just like, what was Tom doing on just like a regular week previously? Like, it didn't seem like he was involved with a bunch of active stuff. Like, we didn't see a bunch of his friends. Like, we saw his brother mainly.
Yeah. But he goes behind the couch. He brings the ball out. He's like, we played basketball. He's like, I want a rematch. The basketball says, "Let's stay together." He has to take great pains to cover the Spalding logo on the basketball.
I didn't even realize he
So
was.
he's holding it in such a way where you see the "Let's stay together," but he's covering up all the logo stuff. So he's holding it very weirdly in his hands. He says, she says he has helped her grow and be better. She says, but I just cliffhanger to the commercial. We come back from the commercial. Just sorry, I just cannot see myself not being married to you. Oh, of course she says
he
yes.
is like, don't scare us.
All the extras like, oh my god, why would you do that to us?
Right.
Like, I had to be me. I had to do what I had to do. So they're both a yes. Tom says, yeah, he was confident in his decision, but he didn't see that joke coming. Camille says, hey, gotta keep you on your toes. This is what you have to expect for forever.
Yeah.
We get an exchange of love yous and a kiss.
That was their first time.
First time saying love each other.
Which it wasn't, as far as we know.
As far as we know, because it didn't seem to be like that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It was like love you too.
Because they just had that one conversation where it was like he was saying like, do you need us to say I love you before you can say yes?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they said it off camera.
Yeah,
to have it just be a kind of them moment.
Yeah,
so that was Tom and Camille. We all knew what that was going to be. So I mean, they're the only ones we have to really well, not really. Are they going to be still together by reunion? Do you think?
I feel like yes.
Yeah, I think
it's just like they're so thankful they're not part of any of this drama. They can just be happy together and just enjoy each other. I think it's a given.
Yep. And like most of our successful couples, they just feel like they fit.
Yes.
Right? Like you see them and they just feel like they belong together.
Exactly. Like they feel like two people who could have met organically and ended up together.
And they really feel like the adults in this group of people. Like in this group of 10, these two feel like the adults in the room.
And there's another 42-year-old on the cast.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about another couple, but couple is a very loose term. Alan and Madison. Which I didn't think we were going to get a full-blown segment on them, but we did. So
I was so happy when I saw the preview that they were going to get together with the extras. Like, yes, like a reckoning. Let's go.
Right. So we did get just one scene with them. But this is like they're supposed to be like their closure, like quote unquote last meeting with the experts, because it's not, they treat it like decision day, but it's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's technicality. Pastor Cal, he says, like in his confessional, based on our matchmaking data, it's been clear Madison's been working on a relationship with another husband, and Alan gets there first. He says, like, so he's talking to the experts. He's like, it took me a few days to normalize myself. Like this morning I woke up, my chest was pounding, and I'm just aggravated because it feels like he wasted his time, right? Mm-hmm. And Pastor Cal was like, first and foremost, I am sorry. I'm like, I'm glad y'all know this y'all fault for matching him with her. But it's just like, how do you know someone's going to turn out like this?
But is it their fault? I don't think it's their fault. I think on paper, Alan and Madison were a good match.
That's on Madison.
Yeah, they gave her what she asked for.
True.
A rich Caucasian.
They gave Michelle what she asked for.
Right. So I don't know if I'm putting it that much on the experts for this one.
Yeah, I will blame them for MM and Akechi.
I also blame them for David and Michelle, because they kind of forced Michelle into that. Like, do you want someone that makes less money than you? She's like, not really. She's like, about to be on the show. Will you take
Deal with it?
Like, I guess. All right, so you'll take it.
Right.
So that I blame them for a little bit. This, Alan and Madison, I don't put that on the experts.
Yeah. Alan does see elements of her, like elements in her that could be qualities he needs in his wife. So he can see why they're matched, but he just feels like, is that even her at this point? Madison gets there. Dr. Pepper's like, hi, Madison.
Ooh, it's
like, they don't even get up and give her a hug.
It's so tense because she walks in silently. She barely looks at Alan. She gives him a glance, and Alan's just looking straight ahead. She's like, nope, not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Not gonna look
Fun
at you.
fact, Allison, I've been doing
You
that
keep
all
doing that.
season. Alan did not look at her one time the entire time.
Not once. Can't blame him.
Right.
Yeah, she comes and gets no hugs from the experts. The experts just like, nope, we're just gonna sit here. You're not
Yeah.
gonna get
They're
up.
like,
You sit down. Go ahead. Sit
no
your seat.
greeting for you, my
Yep.
friend. So Dr. Pepper was like, all right, so what do you want to say to your husband? Which I know just stings to her. Like, why are you calling this man my husband? Because he's your husband.
Listen, yeah, I think this is where like we talk about fines and stuff, like how they can fine you for different things. You
Mm-hmm.
have to show up for filming when they say you had to show up for filming. So I think if she could have gotten away with it, she probably wouldn't have shown up. She probably wouldn't have come there. But
Yeah.
I think they probably threatened her, like, if you don't come here, you will be fined $50,000. So
I was looking at it the opposite way because remember she really wanted to say her piece to Alan last episode, but he didn't want to talk to her. I feel like
but
Alan is the one that didn't want to come to this.
I doubt that she wanted to do it in front of the experts. She
Yeah.
probably wanted it to be her and him.
She doesn't
But I
want their
think,
judgment.
yeah, because that's what they were giving her, their judgment. This really felt like a visit the principal's office,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll put your face in what you did. Deservedly so.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing was just like, but by the time she's gotten here, I think her attitude and perspective has changed.
Yeah. So she starts out with an apology. She says she's sorry for hurting him and the pain she's caused him. And it wasn't something that was intentional or planned or done with malicious intent.
You literally planned
Yeah.
to go on dates with David, to the gym and to the club.
Yep.
And all that was intentional.
It was all on accident.
You did not accidentally run into him at the gym. All those times that was on accident. So I don't
I
want to hear
didn't
that.
mean it. I was just totally it was oops.
Oopsie.
Oopsie, made a oopsie. So she says she should have been more honest about her opinions in the beginning, and she just wants him to know that she did see the effort that he put in. He's like, if you didn't have feelings, like, why dangle the carrot of hope when you've already decided like you wanted to pursue things with David? And she's like, well, I didn't have my mind made up. Like everything between us was real. All the dates were real. Everything that was said was real. Like you can believe it or not, which is on her and David's nightstand before they go to bed. They're like, every time we get in a situation, we have to say you can either believe it or not.
Yes. And for her to be like, well, I didn't know my feelings at the time. So basically, you were straddling the fence. You had David over here and Alan over here. That doesn't really make it any better, Madison.
Right, exactly. She says she wanted to find her person and she just should have been more honest. And he's like, I just know like I shouldn't have to work this hard to like make somebody love me, right? Or not love me, like me. Like you don't have to work that hard to make someone like you. And he's like, she's been playing this game with David for weeks and it repulses him. And he didn't think she was the kind of woman to do that. She's like, all right, well, I came here to apologize and I've done that. So I don't have anything else to say. Like, basically, I don't want to hear you talk about me because I don't want any of your opinions on how bad of a person you think I am.
The attitude,
Yes.
You have no room for attitude here. Take your lashings and deal with it. You are not in a position to be like, well, I came here to apologize and that's it. Like as if we're two aggrieved parties that both have done something wrong.
Right.
You are the one that is in the wrong, in the total wrong. And for you to just act so annoyed.
Wrong.
Yeah, just so act so annoyed and so like this is so beneath you to do this is wild to me.
Yeah, she turned her temperament turned into I don't even have to be here. Like I did this to do you a favor. She might as well have gone ahead and say that because that's how she was acting.
Mm-hmm.
She says she says she has nothing else to say. He's like, is this divorce time?
And I was like, can we get this over with? Can we get this done?
Right. And then she says, let's call a spade a spade. He don't need your cosign.
Yeah, you're good. You just be quiet over there.
Right. Ugh. And so Dr. P is like, well, like, what's like, why?
The experts are like, no. We're gonna keep this going. Like, because both Madison and David will try to end this.
Yes,
quickly.
they want it to be a 5-minute thing.
Yeah, and the experts like, nah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not getting out of this easy. You got some questions to answer here. So
Exactly.
let's give you the third degree.
So Dr. Pia just like questions Madison on this, like why that response. She's like, well, I can sense his anger, and like nothing I say at this point will change like his opinion about me. And I'm just not gonna beat a dead horse or, you know, continue to like make myself feel like beep. And Pastor Cal's like, closure, like telling her like that's the reason to do this. Alan said, honestly, I don't want it. He said,
Alan, shut up. Shut up, Alan. We want closure.
Like, zip it. I need closure.
Yeah, we want closure, Alan. I don't care what you got to say anymore. This isn't even about you no more. I want answers. I want closure. So, Alan, you can shut up too if you want to act like that. Like
you said,
try to be all magnanimous. No, get out of here. I want yelling. I want screaming. I want answers.
He said he doesn't want the closure. He said Madison is easy to get over. He said he has no questions. Her words hold no value. He said it's like a flip of a switch.
Holy defense mechanisms, Batman. Because you know he's crushed. And he's just trying to come off as like, nope, didn't even care, never cared. I didn't even like her anyway.
What's her name?
Yeah, Alan, we know you cared, man. We know you cared.
He wants it to sting a little bit. Like he wants her to feel an ounce of what he's feeling.
Yeah, but don't like it. It's also kind of giving her an out in a way because she'd be like, no, Madison, you know, as much as we all know how he felt about you, and no, this is not as easy flipping a switch. It's not. He's just saying that to make it seem like it's not hurt.
Right. So then Pastor Cal goes like, oh, so Alan, what about David? Like, do you need closure from him? And Alan was like, he's like dirt to me. So he wanted to say something else. And Madison said, it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to move forward.
You're not going to dwell on it?
No one's asking you anything about this. You are the offender. You are the guilty party. There's nothing that you need to do to just move on or whatever. Like, why? She is just trying to make it seem like.
Yeah, we were both wronged here. So
yeah, exactly.
What are we gonna do?
I didn't get matched with David originally, so
is what it is.
I had to do
really,
this.
Really, if you think about it, this is y'all's fault, experts. So really, both Alan and I are victims here. So
yeah.
So I'm waiting for my apology as well, experts.
Right. Exactly.
No, nothing. Okay.
And so Pastor Cal was like, okay, so Madison is moving forward, continuing her connection with David. She's like, possibly at some point,
like
but
tomorrow.
Right now I'm focused on healing myself. Dr. Pepper finally speaks up. Forgot she was in the room. She was like, we can't help but feel bad for Alan because he's a trusting guy. And so Pastor Cal just asked Madison if she had anything else to say. She says no. And Alan's like, there is no part of me that wants to be married to this woman. Pastor Cal's like, well, don't lose hope. Wish you the best. And we get a confessional from Madison. Just the audacity continues. She's like, I truly wish the best for Alan. I thought that we at least deserve to look at each other in the face, but I guess I don't even deserve that much. He's rightfully angry, but he seems more spiteful. Like, and
deserves to be. Yes, true.
And she goes, I still have feelings for David, no question. Duh, we know that.
My goodness. I like how the experts are like, we wish you nothing but the best. Looking at Alan, not looking at Malik. And Alan, we wish you nothing but the best. We hope everything turns out well for you.
Exactly.
Alan, I want to make sure my eyes are connecting with your eyes and not Madison's. I want to make sure you know that I'm only speaking to you.
There's a certain point no one's looking at Madison.
No one.
She's like, am I here?
And you cannot get up and leave either. You stay there and be ignored by us.
Right. They're like, Madison, sit down. She's like over there.
She tries to go, no. Yeah. You sit.
We're not looking at you right now because you don't deserve it.
You sit, you watch us wish Alan well and make sure you know that we're not wishing you well.
Right. Alan, it has his confessional. He's like, I feel good knowing this divorce is official. I can move forward, finding someone that actually deserves me. So I'm glad he at least knows his worth through this.
Alan was too nice for me. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I needed him to be a little more rageful. I needed him to be a little more like, I know this is not a good thing for me to say or think, but I need a little more shame to come Madison's way.
Yes.
I need a little more like righteous righteous indignation coming
Uh-huh.
from all sides at her. I feel like she
Yes.
got off pretty easily here.
She
Um,
did. She did.
so I don't know what else I would have wanted to say or do. But I felt like she got off
I
easy.
just needed him to kind of like have that energy. Like, I need you
Mhm.
to know how this impacted me emotionally. I need you to know the efforts that I put in and how wasted they were. Like,
Yes.
I feel like she needed to hear him vocalize those things, at least just to know that he's aware of how much she may not care. She's so like once you're this far gone, like,
Well, she has convinced herself that she's done no wrong now.
yeah.
Like she's in that level
And
of
how
things.
dare Alan be upset about this?
Yeah, she has gaslit herself into being like, you didn't do anything wrong. You were just
Mhm.
going with your feelings. That's not wrong. That's actually good. That's actually brave. The things you did here is by
Yeah.
is by going to the person you felt a connection with. There's nothing wrong with that. She has really convinced herself that, and
Yeah.
I think David has probably helped her in that as well, because David never thought he did anything wrong. So he's really like
He's
gone.
like hyped her up. It's
Yeah,
like,
for
no,
sure.
you're in the right. You're with somebody you like now. That's what we
Yeah,
did this for, right? Right? We did this to find our person, right? And we did. And
yeah,
I think
because
once they realized that they could use that angle, they're like, oh, we're absolved of everything.
yeah, I mean, once they realized that no one was gonna fall for this, like, oh, we just let each other know how we were feeling yesterday. And once they realized no one's gonna fall for that, they were just like, all bets are off. There's
Yeah.
not even any point of like acting like we're, you know, remorseful for anything we did. We might as well go full steam ahead with this.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of the attitude she came at this with, which is her true attitude. When
Yes.
with the whole like last episode, like I just want to talk to Alan and make him know that it's not. I didn't mean to do this. I'm
That's
so
all for the
sorry.
cameras.
Yeah, it was all for the cameras. This is the real Madison now, who she is. She doesn't care about other people. She is selfish. She is just, she's terrible. Like, I have other words I could say, but I'm gonna take the Alan route
Yeah.
and just say she's terrible. She's awful for doing what she
Be
did.
more like Alan.
Yeah, she knowingly did all of this to Alan. For what reason, I still don't know. Because
Mhm.
the easiest route would have just been to be like, it's not working.
Yeah.
We need
Why
to
is that
finish
so
this.
hard?
Yeah, I
Like, there
need
are people who've
answers.
broken up earlier in the process for wilder reasons. Like, oh,
Yeah,
you smoke? I can't do that.
right. I
Like,
need answers. I need to know
yeah.
why she did this. I need to like I need like Kevin, you are officially our last hope. There will be a final after party after decision day. I think Rudy said
Mhm.
3 weeks after the last one. Rudy, I'm also going to put you in the seat. I'm going to need someone
Well,
to.
she if David ever goes back on, she's gonna be like, you sat up there and lied to me when I asked, were you cheating?
Mhm. Yeah, I need someone to hold Madison's feet to the fire, especially, and be like, "What's the truth?" Because there is a reason you had no text to and from David
Yeah.
in your phone. So this whole like we just caught feelings today is not real. I need to
So,
know what the real deal is.
someone either, I don't know if it was a podcast or like, it comes up on like the preview, like you get to see the beginning of a YouTube video or YouTube
Mhm.
short or whatever. I saw it somewhere, maybe TikTok, where somebody like it was a husband and a wife and they were trying to see like how David came up under recents. And so
Oh,
what they
mhm,
did was like somebody they had recently DM, they just deleted their message and then
mhm.
they searched their name and it came up under recents.
Right. So there's a reason that happened. There's a reason you deleted all your communication with David.
Yeah.
So what's that reason, Madison? Like no one has really asked for that. Michelle let her off the hook a couple episodes ago, but be like, well, I got all the information I need, so you're good to go. No, I
Yeah.
need to know what your communications were and why you chose to delete them.
I mean,
if you just admitted to getting feelings today.
yes. I mean, they have to get into that on the reunion because they're obviously going to be sitting up there cuddled up as if they were the original couple,
Yeah.
and they're Kevin, how do you not ask, where did this start? And like, oh, it started at the gym. She asked me how I was.
Again, we need some truth serum and
Yeah.
keep these people up before the reunion, because I need real concrete answers, because what they're
Exactly.
given is just not enough.
Yeah. So that was it for Allison and Madison. One more time.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah, we got the other end of the square, David and Michelle. Michelle is the first one in to the experts meeting as usual, wearing her revenge dress or whatever. I don't know. She says she feels like she comes to the experts meeting. So how you feeling, Michelle? Michelle says, I feel there's been a lot of lying going on, probably for longer than I was aware. Cal says, how long do you think they've actually been together doing these things? Michelle says, well, based on the message, I would say a lot longer than we've been told. I'll say that. He comes lounging in his sweatsuit and jeans. Like, this man has just, he don't care. He is totally just
sorry, I just got you working out with Madison.
I'm here, aren't I? That's what you wanted.
Wait, did you say how Pastor Cal told Michelle, you better work?
Yeah, you better work, girl. Oh man, David.
He's so funny.
David comes in, sits down. He says, first of all, I want to apologize again. I never had any intention to hurt you. That's not in me. It's not in me to try and hurt you. Like, that's not the person I am. But I caught feelings for Madison. Okay, Pastor Cal. Pastor Cal is sitting there just shaking his head like, oh my gosh, this fool. David says, I know it's not fair to you. Like, I should have come to you about my feelings when I wasn't happy so we could work on them. But, I held him in. I did. I held them all in. Michelle says, everything you have said is, Michelle's like, they both have the string, like those pull strings on those dolls.
Yeah.
Like David says, believe what you want to believe. Michelle says, why should I believe you now? You've been lying this whole time. Why should I believe you now?
Right.
He goes, well, like I can't help you. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. That's all I can do. Pia, who she was pretty quiet in the whole Mass and Alan.
Yeah, this said, I'm not sparing you at all.
She was all in. She was all in on him. She says, Pia says, so why are you acting so defensive? He says, I'm not being defensive. I just want to be done with it. Mentally, I'm just checked out. I'm shut down. Pia says, and you don't see that as defensive? Like,
Right.
Dave's like, all right, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what defensive means.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Not sure what defensive is. I just know I'm not it.
She
Okay.
should have said define defensive.
Cal says, well, I get it, David. This is how you are. Like, everybody's coming on David now. He says, this is how you are. When things get too much, you check out. He says, how do you think it's going to work in any relationship? Never mind to Michelle or Madison, in any relationship, how is that supposed to work for you? David says, well, if I was in a relationship with my partner, they can help me with that. Cal says, isn't that your responsibility to help yourself with
Right.
that? David says, I mean, yeah, but a partner checking in on you, asking you how you are, can help with that. And this one over here, her, she never asked me that. Not one time did she ask me how I was doing. Pia clocks his tea like no other. Pia says, you really seem to be making a case for why it's okay that you cheated on Michelle. She's like, do you think any of us believe this? He's like, I don't care. I don't care what you believe, what you don't believe.
Right.
He says, oh, we know, David. We know you don't care.
She said, you are making that abundantly clear.
Abundantly clear that you do not care. She says, your apology is not genuine because you're coming up with all this, but this, but that. At what point do you take responsibility for your actions? He says,
as an adult.
He says, I'm being truthful. I'm not condoning it. I'm just so checked out at this point. I'm so checked out. He says, I gotta take time for myself and make myself happy. I have a cold, so my David is not like
it's pretty good.
Cal says, so for you, is happiness pursuing Madison? He says, yeah. Yeah.
That's
Michelle,
that's my girl, actually.
That's my boo thing.
Right.
We're going golfing tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right. Y'all want to come?
Yeah. Not you, Michelle. Not you. X for a young cup. So you can see what you should have matched.
Right.
He says, yeah, that MAFS is part of my plans. Michelle kind of chuckles. She says, it's kind of hard hearing that, saying in one breath you're gonna be working on yourself, but also working on things with Madison. That doesn't really make much sense. She's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to say to you. I don't know. Dr. Pepper asks Michelle, so what do you want to hear from David? Michelle says, nothing. She says, he has no remorse. He blames me for everything. She says, the only thing that matters for him is Madison. And, I don't need anything else from him. She wishes him luck with Madison. He says, did you ever actually even care about me? She says, I did. She says, I did. That's why I didn't run away from the marriage. I treated you with respect. I said, hold on.
Okay, now we're like revising history a little bit.
Yeah, hold on, Michelle. Hold on. You're coming a little bit too outside the lines here. Let's remember all this, the honeymoon especially. Where you ask this man, does your mommy do your laundry for you?
Right.
That is not talking to him with respect. You're doing a little much here. Like we were at a good level with Michelle and her outrage at this to this point.
Yes.
Now we're getting a little too high. She says she was loyal to his marriage, and so she did care. Sure. He says, sure. I didn't ask you how you were every day. I'm sure Madison did enough of that for you. She asks, so do you care about me? He says, honestly, I don't. It's like, I really don't. Like, wow, my dude. Wow. How the truth comes out.
Just comes out, and it's just like, it didn't even have to come to this. If they had just broken up when early in their relationship, when they both knew it wasn't going to work.
Yep. Michelle asked, so if you had this thing with Madison all this time, why did you drag me along? Why didn't you end things? He said, I didn't think you really even cared. Cal says, well, David, you have to give her some credit. She stayed. She cared somewhat. She admitted she was having trouble, and it was taking her a long time to develop. David, at this point, he has had enough. He literally, like a 5-year-old.
We'll do it at the same time.
Yeah. Oh. like a 5-year-old bored in class, he hangs his head off the back of the chair like, oh my God, how long do I have to do this for?
And then he starts pounding his feet.
I just want to go home.
You're making me pull my hair out.
Oh man. She goes, Michelle. So see, this is what I get. Okay, Michelle. Okay.
See, yeah, exactly. Now you're trying to pull in a KG. Like, look what I have to deal with
every time.
All the time.
And so David has decided he's going to have a big symbolic gesture. he takes his ring off. Just sits it on the table. As if he was a judge in a courtroom and like banged his gavel, like this case is dismissed.
Right.
Everybody looks at David like, what was I supposed to do?
That's it's over. It's been over.
That was a given. I don't know what you thought you were doing here. What move did you think you were pulling? I thought that's what would end it. I mean, I thought I'd be allowed to get up and leave after that. No? So I'm sitting here and I'm do this. It's like they looked at him like, really? Did you really just do that? Oh my goodness. Pia says, so because you thought she didn't care, you were allowed to do whatever you wanted. Like that was your attitude. He just I don't know. He has just evolved at this point. He's just saying, I don't know. David, what color is the sky? I don't know. David, who do you love? Madison. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. As soon as it comes to Madison, he's straighten up. Get an answer. I'm actually pursuing her, with my heart and my soul.
Everything else, I don't know.
He's just turned into a child, and it's just like, obviously, this like nice guy act was an act. Like it was legitimately an act. It's like, oh, I'm trying to come off, which is like, it shows us that the moments in the relationship with Michelle, when he was trying to like, oh, I'm putting forth this effort, like she's pushing back, but I'm putting it forth. It was already evolving with Madison at that time.
So here's the thing, right? Like I think the first, I don't know, 2 days of the honeymoon,
Yes.
he was probably
Yeah.
like, let me
That
give this a
early,
shot.
yes.
Let me try it. But literally that date that we had on camera in the gym at the honeymoon, I think definitely sparked this.
Yeah.
It was just like he found it easy to talk to her. They were on the treadmill together, and it just snowballed from
Mhm.
there. Do I think that he thought I'm gonna shoot my shot with Madison on that day? Maybe not, but
Right.
I think it just really kind of went out of control from there because yes, he was getting all sorts of negative feelings and emotions coming from Michelle.
Mhm.
So she is not blameless in this. She is not so
She is
so
not blameless.
she's
Yeah.
not blameless. So I think I kind of wish that because I mean once David goes into the I don't know. Cal at this point is like, well, obviously there's nothing else to be said here. David's going to keep doing his I don't know thing. So I think we're kind of done here.
Yeah.
Michelle says, yeah, I think he needs to say I'm ready for a divorce. We need to move on. Dave says, yes, I would like a divorce as well. Pia says,
This is great.
Pia looks at David. She says, I hope you do some soul searching because I have lost all respect for you. And he just looks at her like, all right.
He's like,
And yeah.
It's like, don't be mad at the experts because you are the one that messed up.
Mhm.
It's just like now, like, okay, I don't have any respect for this production. I don't have any respect for the experts. They're not a part of this.
Yep.
They're literally outsiders to the situation. You would think that the only person that's getting this stank attitude would be their spouse that they want to end things with. But no, they're taking it out on everyone else around them when it's like, you're the one in the wrong.
Yeah, we're all here to to make sure you know that you effed up, and now you're looking at us like we effed up. You are just on a whole other planet with your whatever.
Mm.
So Cal looks at Michelle and says, you come out of this with massive lessons. He says, I don't want you to lose hope or faith in marriage. Michelle says she still wants to get married again, and it's the hardest thing she's ever done, and she's definitely learned a lot. I said, like what? Name one thing you learned, because I don't think you learned a damn thing.
David.
I don't think she learned a damn thing, but check his phone. That's the only thing she learned. Look at his text messages. Pepper says, well, Pepper, who really, it's the first time she's chiming in.
Yeah.
She says, well, this chapter of your lives are over. It's time for you to both of you to move on. David gets up, he sloshes off to whatever.
Sloshes.
In a confessional. That's what he does. He sloshes. In a confessional, he says, I'm just kind of relieved it's over. Not the best way to end things, but things happen. Things happen?
Things happen. Just casual affairs.
You live and you learn. Tomorrow's a new day. And that new day is a date with Madison tomorrow.
Literally.
Michelle is in confessional saying it's disappointing. She says he was protecting Madison this whole time. Madison is what he cared about, and getting his bleep hard from Madison at the gym. I said, oh, okay.
Right.
She said, at least now I know and I can move on and know that it's not my fault. Okay.
Famous final words.
My dear, I know you think you have totally twisted this narrative to make it so that you are totally the wronged party, which you are to an extent. But I kind of wish once David had left that the experts had said to Michelle, like, no, Michelle, like yes, you were cheated on, but let's not forget how you handle things in the beginning of the marriage.
Please.
And to really kind of impart some more wisdom to her, more of what they were doing in the beginning of the season. Like try to look past people's circumstances or whatever it may be so that you can see what values they have for you as a partner or something like that. Yeah. I just wish they hadn't have let her get off scot-free and be like, you were so wrong. We're so sorry. Like, no, you did have a partner.
Trying.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's not. We never saw evidence of that. We know at every turn she was complaining about him, and that it would have been that case if the entire relationship. She just got lucky that this situation happened.
Yeah, she really did. She really lucked out in getting David to do this, because otherwise she would have been the villain that she actually is. But she
Yes.
comes out of this smelling pretty good in the show's eyes, I think, because the experts really didn't say anything to her about her attitude or her behavior in the beginning of the season. So I kind of wish they had kind of reminded her, we didn't forget what you did at the beginning of the season. This does not erase that, Michelle. Like, you need to know that.
And maybe Kevin Frazier will bring that up at the reunion.
Hopefully. Very hopefully.
Yeah, maybe. But it is easy. Like, there's so much to talk about at the reunion that I wouldn't even put it past them to be like, okay, we'll forget about that. Let's focus on the other stuff.
I'm gonna need them to play some of those clips of Michelle to remind us all.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when they play those clips, I feel like David's gonna be like, see what I was dealing with, guys? No wonder I cheated. I don't want either of those people to feel like they won in any of this. But it's but yeah, let's get to the new couple on the block.
There's a new couple on the block, which means a new picture. Yay!
Oh, look at them! Look at them! Just two peas in a villainous
They're matching.
pod.
Isn't that so cute?
Gross.
David and Madison. We get a whole couple segment for them, which is wild. So they go on a date. We pull up to they're at a golfing range or shooting range, however you want to call it, for golf. He's I don't know.
Shooting range for golf.
It was a golfing range.
Yeah, golf range was good. He should have left it at that.
He walks up, and did you hear him? He's like so happy, so happy, so happy. He's like okay, he was a toddler right at the meeting with Michelle. Now he's just this giddy little kid who's just like, oh my god, this pretty girl. I'm with this really pretty girl. They get to hang out with her.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so he was like, I haven't asked somebody out on a date in a while. And he's like, this is my ideal date: booze, beautiful woman, and golf.
And Madison just
she's so funny, David.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny. Like, oh my god. My eyes never left the top of my head from rolling them so hard.
I was like, what are we doing getting a date with them? What the heck?
Yeah. He's like, it's been a while since I asked anybody out on a date, or since I've been on a date, and we finally made it. We've been talking about this for a while. Have you?
Right.
You've been talking about this for a while?
Married, constantly going on dates.
You've been talking about this for a while, eh? Can't wait to get my date, Madison.
I mean, a week since you professed your love at the retreat.
Yeah, right.
So she was like, so how long have you been golfing?
Ugh.
Well, since I was like 11 or 12.
I love how we have just evolved David into like a sewer monster. Do you remember you and Mari telling me early in the season that David sounds just like Common, doesn't he? And
he does actually. He still does.
Sewer monster.
No, you know what? To know something that's funny? I was getting my locks done, and my loctician watches Married at First Sight, and literally a Common song came on her thing, and I said, don't he sound like David? I was like, I've been trying to tell my co-host all season he sounds like David. She's like, he does sound like David. She's like, Common just sounds like more Chicago than David does.
Asia, she is a service person taking care of you. She wanted that tip. She's like, sure, yeah, Common, David, same person.
Oh my gosh, whatever. I'm not gonna continue to have this debate. So she got into golf a couple years ago. And he's like, so how you feeling about everything? She's like, in life? Girl, duh.
You mean like in life? You mean like just in general? What do you mean?
Right. She's like, well, I feel more like I feel more like myself in the past week. I've been feeling happier, and like hanging out with you is like a lot easier, and it's like not forced.
So I don't know, man. The fact that she is saying this stuff about like it now, you're saying I felt forced to hang out with Alan. It felt like this and that. It's just so terrible to think, like, because in all the dates that they like, Alan only did things with her that she would like.
Yeah.
to try and
He
get
went to her
her to
little
like him.
fitness class.
Yeah.
They did like the outdoor thing, like the ropes course. He was trying to appeal to her interests. And now all of a sudden things feel forced.
Yeah. She didn't like doing any of those things. Like
Yeah.
now, okay. Like kick rocks, girl. Kick rocks with open-toed shoes.
Yeah. So anyway, so then she says like, "Oh, I could be out here for hours." And he was like, you're really speaking my love language." And so he said he's back at peace. He's back on his positive vibes. He's been smiling so much that his smile is starting to hurt. And
Listen, Madison, are you are you gonna have David get Invisalign too? Because
now she's like, now I actually don't care
yeah, and
about
now
you.
all of a sudden,
Yeah. So he's excited. He wants more of this. She's like, "Oh, I do too. This has been so fun." He's like, I'm actually a little nervous." She's like, "Why?"
like, I'm actually like a like a little nervous. You know what I mean? Like a little like just I don't know what to do. I'm just in front of a beautiful girl. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god.
He's like, my feelings for you are strong, but I like he's not trying to overwhelm her, but he can see a lot with him, and he wants her to know that he's gonna rock with her no matter what's going on. She's like, "Thank you. Like, my feelings are strong for you too. It's been so fun and easy when we hang out." And he said he feels good when he's with her. I was like, the fact that you are saying the exact words, EKG, "I don't feel good when I'm with MM." You're using those exact words. "Oh, I feel good when I'm with you." When has that become the standard? Like, okay, that's what we're looking for. We want to be with someone who makes us feel good.
It's fun and easy because there's nothing real happening here.
There's nothing on the line.
Nothing on the line. Pastor Cal talked about a rebound for Madison. I think it's very interesting to think about because that seems like what this could be for Madison because it's like
Mhm.
I don't have to like, forcibly try. I don't have to be
Yep.
good for the cameras. I can
I
just
don't
hang
have
out.
to open up.
Yeah, I can hang out with this F boy all day long and it doesn't really mean anything. It's just David. Like I don't have to
It's
be married to
David.
him. I can F him all I want. I don't have to have any like commitment to him. Meanwhile, David's like, can't wait to got the ring in my pocket, about to ask her to marry me in a couple of days. Madison meanwhile is like, it's so fun and so easy because you probably don't talk about anything real. All you do
You're
is go to
not
the gym,
yeah,
go to the
you're not
club,
diving deep.
yeah, that's all you do. So yes, it is fun and easy. But what about when it comes time to talk about real things, get serious, get deep? David sounds about as shallow as a 1 foot kiddie pool. So like when it comes time to be real adults, what is that going to be like for y'all? Like because at that point,
Will they be forced to though? If you're not in an atmosphere with these experts, your
right?
relationship is on your terms. You may never go deep and you think that's just fine because oh, it's light and easy.
Yeah, and when we think about what Madison was in the beginning of the season, she was talking about the fact that she would go for these pretty boys. I don't know if David matches that description in her mind or what, that treated her like crap. That was what
Mhm.
she was attracted to, and she wanted to go different from that. And it just feels like she has backslid back to what her usual old type is, and
Yeah.
that's what she's getting with David. So have fun with him for the next however long you're going to be together, but it's not going to be anything real. It's not going to be anything substantial because he's David. He's gonna
Right.
be like all those other gym rats that treat you like crap, that probably cheated on you because he cheated on his wife to get with you. So obviously he's gonna cheat on you.
But I'm different.
That's what she thinks. That's what
But
she thinks.
but it's like well, they're cut from the same cloth. She did the same thing.
That's true. So they're going to be toxic to each other, which is going to be
Yeah.
great. So it annoyed me so hard that they were cheesing. It's like this was to them, this is their victory lap, and they
Yeah.
should be taking a victory lap. They should be crashed and burned horribly on the side of the road. It was so annoying. I understand the compulsion for the show to do this.
Mhm.
I get it. But as a viewer, it's just like it was
Ugh.
gross. It was yes, it
Yeah.
was ugh. It was our password for this week. The throw up
Mhm.
emoji. That's what I felt watching this whole thing. It was just so gross.
Yeah. She tells him he looks so cute. He's so cute when he's nervous. And they hug, and she's like, let's just try to be happy and blow Ish up along the way. He said, oh, we're gonna be happy.
Oh man.
they're gonna be real happy.
So scale of 1 to 5 by reunion, are they gonna be together?
I think they will be. Obviously, we've seen like evidence of them still being in close proximity at airports and stuff.
I think they have to be. They have to stay together at least until the whole show is aired, and the tension is not on them anymore, and they can maybe
Because
break up.
it's them against the world, right?
Exactly.
And they
Yeah.
have to see that through the airing, watch it together, like, yep, and be there for each other. But then, okay, what happens after that when no one cares anymore?
Right. Be on socials for like another month after the show is aired, talking about how you're still going strong, and then you just kind of fade into the background, break up, and no one will care. Kind of like the Tyler and Ashley of Love Is Blind, right? Like,
as soon as things got down,
stick it to the haters, stick it to all the haters that hated you. Yeah, we're still together, we're still doing great.
And then quietly break up.
They quietly break up, exactly. But you're not gonna get it past us. We're gonna see you. We're gonna know. And we're gonna say we told you so when it happens.
Exactly. So yeah. That was it for the David and Madison section. So prepare yourselves for the next few episodes, because they will continue to come.
Well, it looks like with a preview show, because we know we're going to get a big fight to cliffhang this episode.
Yes.
I think we're going to get the end of that fight after when the next episode begins. I think there's going to be a time jump. Yeah, there's going to be a time jump. Maybe 6 months, maybe 3 months. I don't know. Because it looks like a lot has happened for a lot of people in the rest of that episode. But yeah, let's get into the get together of it all, the party of it all. It's going to be held at Juan's Fantasy Factory warehouse, whatever this is. It has a boxing gym and a club-ish atmosphere place. I don't know what this was. But wouldn't you know it, the first person to arrive for once in this whole experience, Akechi arrives first. He is the first one to get
one.
He comes in
because he's not in the group text when they all said like, "Hey y'all, we're running late," and they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna hang back."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna show up on time."
Yeah, he only talks to production.
Yeah.
And he has a beige beanie on. I would love to see this man's beanie collection because he apparently has all the colors.
And he got way too many beanies to be from Houston.
So he comes in his beige beanie. He walks in with one. He's like, "Hey, ¿cómo estás?" Like,
Juan's like, "Wait, what's your name?"
Like you're already irking me, Akechi. You're already irking me with the Spanish talk to Juan. Like, we get it. So Akechi comes in, and everybody else starts kind of filing in. I think Thomas and Camille come in after that to talk, and Alan comes in.
Michelle.
Yep, everyone filters in, and the party looks like it's starting to get going in earnest. Everybody's like, "All right, well, everyone's here. Let's get the drinks flowing." And then
does give Akechi a hug, which was a choice.
Yeah, true. So she comes in. She says, she gives everyone a hug. She's like, "Akechi," gives him a little hug and walks over. The party's getting started. And a dark cloud descends on the whole party.
And then there was thunder.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Thunder, lightning, all that. And then David and Madison.
Lights flicker.
Yeah. David and Madison. Madison, who kind of looks like a vampire-ish person here in the villainous red dress and the eye makeup to make her look like a villain. As you can see, if you're watching the YouTube, you can see it. They walk in together. It was like, ooh. They walked in together, and it's very, very awkward. It's extremely awkward because Alan is there. Michelle's there. David, dapping up all the boys in a line, gets to Alan, has his hand out. Hey, Alan's like, no,
we're not doing that today.
Not doing it. Madison totally ignores Alan, does not even speak to him. Alan has to say, "Hey, Madison," because she literally walks past him. Like, you have the nerve, the gall, the audacity to not speak to me.
She just has it's not even a backbone, just like no courage.
None. Like, she acts as if she was wronged, and it's
Yes.
so wild because
Like, how
yes,
dare Alan be
yeah,
so mad and not even look at me?
yeah,
I don't deserve to be looked at.
no, you
What did
don't,
you? Are you serious?
because the ball is in Alan's court, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to at least make a cursory attempt to say hello to Alan, whether it gets waved off, whether he tells you to drop dead, eat dirt, whatever it may be, you still have to acknowledge him.
Like, if MM and KG can acknowledge each other, you can't
Yeah,
say hi.
you have to say hi at least. See gauge the temperature, but just to ignore the man like he did something to you, no, not
Uh-uh.
cool, not cool. So we that's all happened. Michelle says she is gonna lay low. She's not gonna cause any drama. She says, but she was pretty annoyed at David and Michelle coming in and acting all lovey-dovey and as a couple. We sit down. We have we have some talk. So pretty much everyone checks in with each other. We get the check-in from Juan and Carla about their divorce. We get the check-in from Thomas and Camille about their staying together. Yes, all great. Everyone gets the updates. Yeah, and then we get into the MM and Ikechi of it all. MM gives like her spiel. She says, listen, I came into this open and vulnerable, and y'all see how that went. She says she is still hopeful in finding someone to grow with, to uplift her, someone to build a life with, a ride or die. It's unfortunate that's not what happened. Me all this time. We're cutting to Ike. He's getting
Yeah.
more
And
perturbed.
Camille chiming in, no matter what.
That's right, girl. Ike's just getting more and more perturbed. She
He's
says,
just like, he starts just like,
huffing and puffing.
what Pepper does when she wants my attention. Like, literally, Pepper will sit there and just sigh. And I'm like, what? Is he just waiting for someone to call his name?
Yes, and that is what happened, because he literally sighed out loud. He's like, and Camille says, all right, you got something to say, so go ahead and say it. Like Camille says on the tip of your tongue, go ahead, say it. He says, it just sounds like a political party trying to get votes. And everyone's like, no. Everyone's like, tomato, boo this man, boo. Right. They're like, no,
you don't even go here.
They're like, nah, you cannot say that. You cannot do that. He says, listen, she's giving her opinion. She's giving all her stuff. I wasn't around to give my opinion. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
I love when they were booing him and he goes, you asked my opinion. I'm giving my opinion. And Carla said, and I'm giving mine.
He says, thanks for that. Okay, thanks. He's such a jerk. He's such an idiot. He says, you all heard what she had to say. He says, I didn't get her all. I didn't get that from her. I was constantly insulted, made to feel small. So yes, I left all the time. And this is what y'all didn't see. And that's why you didn't see me, because I had to keep leaving because she kept making me feel small. He says, I didn't want to come to the retreat.
Okay.
MM says, we all make decisions. She says, we all make decisions. We all have to be accountable. And accountability is not something you are familiar with. She says, you need to be accountable for coming up there and trying to embarrass me. You did that. Own it. Grow up. You are 42 years old.
Yeah, right.
Ooh. He says,
like it.
He says, thank you, boss. She says, can I finish? She says, you need to take accountability for stonewalling me for weeks while reaching out to you, because God's grace was in me. She says, but you don't have that anymore. She says, they want to hear you talk. I could care less. He goes, I don't want to hear anymore. He says, I had to be insulted by you, made me feel like shit. He said, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it. He's getting loud.
He literally, yes. Which is like, this is what we're seeing, that what she keeps referring to at like the dinner.
MM could be like, see?
Yeah, literally.
This is what I was dealing with.
Yeah, because she literally refers to that dinner that we did not see, that was off camera, where he gets heated at something he didn't like.
Yes, for sure. And Carla says, listen, you guys are both a little triggered right now. Neither of you are bad. I said, Carla, I know you're trying to be nice, but yeah. Carla says, MM, you are amazing. Ike, I don't know you, so I don't know if you are amazing, but this needs to stop. They all kind of disperse into the little groups. Uh, in a confessional, MM says, that man has no soul. He has no empathy. He knows nothing outside of his own feelings, and his feelings are all outside of reality. I said, damn, tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Camille, they're in a little group. Camille says, listen, we know who you are. MM says it's hurtful the way that he has treated her.
And she's crying.
She's crying. She's tried to understand him, but he is a monster. She says he berated her verbally for weeks, verbally attacked her over and over again, and she just supposed to sit there and take it. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do. So that was the Ike and MM segment,
right?
Then we get to
which I was perfectly content if this was the last of their storyline. But I cannot wait now for the next. We can wait till we get to the next time on, but I cannot wait until we see the next time.
Honestly, I kind of wish I could never shown up because I felt like last week was a really good ending for that story. Like she sent him packing. She sent him on his way
his
confidently.
letter.
Yeah, she sent him on his way confidently and like a boss. He left with his tail between his legs. I kind of wish that had been the end of it, but she handled herself well here too.
He said, "No, I want more."
Yeah. So now we get to David telling the guys are kind of in a circle now on couches or whatnot because we it's Married at First Sight. We have to separate the genders.
Yes,
we have to. So David is telling the guys, all the guys, including Alan, about Thomas. No, what was it? Thomas asked him. So David, how's everything with you? What's going on with you? Well, I went on a date with Madison the other day.
It was Juan, because I was like,
was it Juan? Yeah.
Yeah, Juan's like, David, what's up with you? It could have been about his health. It could have just been like what hobbies he has lately. Just like, how's he doing emotionally? He said, oh, perfect opportunity to bring up Madison.
Well, me and Madison now the other day. How about that, Alan? You like that? Basically is what he was saying in front of Alan.
Yeah.
And then he literally he says, Alan, man, I just got to say again, I'm so sorry, man. It was definitely unintentional. Alan says, I'm going to have to stop you there. I'm going to stop you at the unintentional. He says, there was plenty of opportunity for you to be upfront with me. I thought we were cool, that we would be friends when this was all over, but it did not turn out that way. He says, I do not acknowledge the unintentional part of what you said. Because that's BS.
Right.
He says the rest of it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. If it works out, it works out. David again tries to get up and shake his hand, and Al's like, "Nah, still not doing it."
Trying to touch him, David. He does not want to shake your hand.
David is trying to get an image of Al shaking his hand. He's like, "See, we're good now."
Right.
Al's not falling for it. He's like, "Nope, still not shaking your hand, my dude."
Yeah.
Juan is still trying to play peacemaker. He's like, maybe there's a way we can all still be friends, by the end of this. Mass is like, yeah, we can all be friends still. Shut up, Mass. Shut up. Tom has these moments. I'm like, oh, okay, Tom. Like, okay, you decided to speak up more than 5 words, and I love that. Tom says, yes, speaking of friends, I try to hold my friends accountable because that's what I feel like friends do. So, David, I have to ask you, like, as a friend, if I want to stand with you, I kind of need to know, like, the real. Like, so how long has this been going on? David says, well, Thomas, let me tell you like this. It started in the gym as a friendship. He says, and I was getting attention from Madison, and it meant so much to me, and basically that's kind of where it started growing. So not a real answer. Like that,
right? Literally the same script we've been hearing.
Yes, and we get a shot of Michelle and Carla are over at the bar, away from the main conversation, and Madison starts in by saying, well, me and Alan's situation was a little different from David and Michelle's. Like, we all knew that, Michelle and David were going to be together. She didn't give a shit about David. It's like, whoa. And Michelle overhears
this. She said she had her cup. I'm going to use my Fam Jam drum from the Love is Blind pod. If y'all haven't gone to watch it, go do that. She goes.
Excuse me? Did I hear some trollop mention my name?
Right.
She says, do you want to wait till I come over there to come to have a talk about this? And her hackles are up. She's like, come on, honey. Come on, baby. She's like, you sure you want to do this right now, honey? You sure? She's like, come on over here and sit down, because I'll say what I gotta say in front of your face. So come over here, sit down.
Ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. David's like, no, she's salty. She's salty. You don't do this. You don't do this. Like, no, David, let her do it. Let him do it.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle comes over and says, you really want to do this right now, babe? Really? Do you really? And that's where we end the episode. Next week looks like a banger. Looks like a banger.
It does. Let's break it down. So Carla and Michelle are out at dinner, and Carla's like, it's classy to be a divorcee under 40.
Yeah.
And so let's see, Alan for some reason is talking to Juan about, I've been like really like exploring some things, and Juan's like, sexually? He's like, yeah. Why are they talking about that? So is on a date with a man named Brandon, and she's like, Brandon has really been putting it on the table and is showing them like eating a fry, like what do you call it?
Lady in the Tramp style.
Yes, Lady in the Tramp style. And Madison and David are celebrating her birthday, her 30th, and it's all decorated. And she's like, oh, I don't know how much sleep we'll be getting. And David's like, oh, okay, baby.
All right, baby. Yeah. Sorry, got smoker's cough. You know, David is probably going back to chain smoking every day.
Right.
And Madison probably loves it for some reason.
And so is announcing to the women that she's engaged, and she's showing a ring.
Yeah, so the guess is there's a time jump somewhere.
Right, it has to be. Yes,
because we will get the continuation of the Madison and Michelle fight,
right?
Complete with Madison and David walking out of the venue saying, "Get me in a boxing ring with her." Like, girl,
put me in the ring with Michelle. She wouldn't last 2 seconds.
She is just totally devolved.
So you fight now?
She's totally devolved to this trashy, just Jerry Springer
woman.
Yeah, get me on Jerry Springer. I don't know. It's not a good look. So yeah, we will get the yelling back and forth that we've seen in the previews all season.
Yes.
But Michelle be like, why did you do this? A mass, why did you do this?
Real quick on MM. So MM and Brandon are at an event with the rest of the couples, and Ikechi walks in, and Brandon's like, who is that? And MM was like, that's my ex-husband. And so Brandon gets up to introduce himself. So that's going to be interesting, because he tries to shake his hand, and Ikechi goes in with the fist bump.
Yeah, Brandon, once he heard it was ex, he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Let me go talk to this brother." What's up?
I've heard what you've been through.
Oh man, all right.
I'm about to.
I'm anxious to see that. So
I'm really interested on the timing of this.
So it feels like we're gonna get this instead of a "Where Are They Now?" because as far as the schedule goes, it looks like we have next week's episode, and then we have a 2-part reunion, and that's gonna be it. And that will leave us at 20 episodes for the season. And that is probably the lowest amount we've had in quite a long time.
Lifetime said, wrap it up. Y'all going to Peacock? Wrap it up.
For real.
So yeah, next week should be a good episode. And then, of course, the reunion always delivers. So it definitely will this time. There's no way that it can't. We have too much to discuss.
Yeah, and Thomas and Camille literally got nothing in the preview.
They got a kiss at the very beginning, and that was it.
Yeah, they are obviously still together and happy. So
yeah,
no weirdness going on there. I'm glad they didn't try and fake us out with that.
Yeah. So yes, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. We had a lovely time discussing episode 17. Make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, where you can get all of our podcasts about A Perfect Match, Love is Blind. Love is Blind is actively happening right now, season 8. Make sure you go join the Facebook group, A Perfect Match Podcast, where the password this week is either a barf emoji or the word barf. We'll take either. We'll know that you heard us if either one of them is the password. Jason, what are you up to?
Yeah, you can follow me on The Good Pod with me and Marissa Garza talking about the show The Good Wife and the Good Wife related property Elsbeth that's currently airing right now. You can also, like Asia said, Love is Blind season 8's coming out. I got some content coming up on the We Know scripted TV side of Rob Head's podcast. Me and Sasha Joseph will be talking about the show Daredevil coming up next month. So stay tuned for that. Going to be a real fun time. You can follow me on Blue Sky at JR33D. I don't know why you would, because I don't really do or say anything on there, but you can if you want. It's up to you. But that's it for me. Asia, how about you?
Yeah, so y'all can follow me on all social media at Aysha like Asia. That's AYSHA like ASIA. We got the opportunity to do a special interview last week. There's a show on Amazon Prime called Sweethearts, which is from the creators of Married at First Sight and Love is Blind and The Ultimatum and all these shows, where they have to end the show in a decision, right? So it's following a group of high school seniors who are all in relationships. And at the end of the 10 episodes, they have to decide if they want to continue their relationship into college or break up. So we got to interview one of the couples from this show. They're about a year and a half, 2 years removed from the show, but it was a spoiler-free interview. So in case you want to go check out the interview and decide if you want to watch from there. But it was really good getting insight from them. Very interesting on this new show. And it obviously sparks interest in could there be a season 2? Could we continue to follow them? But if you're interested, go watch. We definitely had a fun time doing that interview. Every week until the reunion, catch me talking about Love is Blind season 8 with Jason and Mary. But yeah, thank y'all so much for sticking with us, and we will be back next week to talk about episode 18. I was on the Survivor 48 draft, so go check that out. That was a fun time too. I forgot to mention that. So go check that out too if you are into Survivor. But yeah, thank you all so much for sticking with us, and we'll catch y'all next time. Bye.